Hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Cherie. They call me an artist. Sometimes I call myself one. I made this. It's a collage with a lot of painting and some pen work on it. If you'd like to watch me make it, I welcome you to join me on my paint table. Okay, guys, I am all over the place. I just started out. If you're watching this and you watched me gel print, this is where I ended up going. So I've got a 16 by 20 canvas, which I want to collage on, and I just want to play. What I want to do is just play and not perform. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to glue down, I'm going to find some neutral color backgrounds like so and so. And I'm going to cover up the back of this thing. And then I'm going to cut some things. I just want to play. I've been away. I've been away for a while because I turned I turned my presidency over to someone new. And I am relatively free. I am not the president of my co-op any longer. And I can't tell you how happy that makes me. And the man who has taken over my position is younger than me by 15 or 16 years. I'm just going to cut off some trim. I'm going to trim some stuff off here. Younger than me by 15 or 16 years. He's been a property manager. So we have a property that he would know how to manage. And he has lived in this co-op on and off since he was 14 years old. So he's excited to make a difference. He's excited to be involved. And I am thrilled to have him. So I am no longer, I can't tell you how happy that makes me. I am no longer the president. I am, however, have returned to being the secretary. And unless somebody wants to run against me at the annual meeting, which is highly unlikely, about as unlikely as Bigfoot's having dinner at my house tonight. Unless somebody wants to do that, I'm going to be the secretary. And I told them I'd be the secretary for a year or until I could train, excuse me for the sound, till I could train someone to take over my position. And then I will be just a citizen. I will be able to live here like everyone else and not have to turn my phone off to keep it from hounding me, and be able to make plans to do anything that I want with anyone I want to do it with without being on call 24 hours a day. Because the unfortunate truth about my co-op is that we are older, and older people have worked all of their lives. And if you're an older woman, not only have you worked most of your life, you've also raised children and maybe one or two husbands most of your life. And you're freaking tired and you just want to do what you want to do. There's all kinds of new, fresh ideas in the pipeline with our new president. And I'm very, very encouraged by that. So I don't know where, I don't have a plan. I can't promise. The last time I made a video, I made a collage in my sketchbook, which didn't turn out, I had no idea what I was going to get, but I didn't realize I was going to cover up 4 different layers of paper and come up with something completely different than even my imagination. I've got this picture in my mind. I was doing cut paper for a while. I don't know, any of you that might have seen my earlier videos, I got into Mark Hurled cut paper collage. I was making birds and cutting out flowers and little under the sea things. I'm getting the feel. Get how yummy this paper is. I'm getting the feel to do something similar. Okay, I say this, I know I always say I'm not going to talk. I'm a talker. I'm probably going to talk. But what I'd like to do is just get started without slowing myself down with talking. What I've also got is a wad of partially used paint. I got all kinds of stuff I can have fun with here. All right, let me just do this. These are going down. And I'm going to just, I'll figure out if I ever decide to offer these, I'll figure out how I'm going to finish the edges. But for now, I just want to get them glued down. Reaching in my drawer for my Princeton Catalyst wedge, which is a miracle for gluing things down and spreading paint and all kinds of good stuff. It's already 3:30 in the afternoon, which means I'm not going to have much daylight. I met my friend and her daughter for breakfast this morning. And then I came home and started gel printing and scared myself because I've got pictures in my mind, and when I don't know how to make them materialize, I get a little performance anxiety, which is, it's a real thing. Even though I hear from you guys, and I appreciate your comments. You guys make me feel very, very important and good. But you also remind me that I'm hard on myself, which I am. And you tell me how talented I am, which maybe I am, but I'm not in touch with that because I'm standing too close to my own work. I've got this picture in my mind of cutting out shapes of flowers and vases because that's a thing that I can relate to. So someone might ask, because there seems to be a fair amount of interest in my wardrobe, I am wearing a caftan that is not one of my designs. It's from Amazon. Amazon, the devil I know. They sell these caftans in 1 million stolen designs. I actually got an email from someone who saw one of my designs on a outfit from on a Chinese website. Of course, I reached out to them and told them to take it down, but they ignored me. They don't care that they stole my design. To be honest with you, I do care if somebody steals my work. But there's nothing that can be done about it. Not when your work is online. One of the pitfalls is that the whole entire world, not just the people on YouTube, not just the people, you know, who know me or don't know me, on Pinterest, my work is everywhere, which means somebody's going to steal it. And many people have. And while I would like to protect it, what I really just want to do is make art. Well, that's kind of pretty. I cannot tell you how annoyed I am with myself right now. I did this. I tore up a bunch of papers and glued them down with no regard, excuse my arms, with no regard for where they were going, because it doesn't matter, because I was just trying to create a background. And I was talking my head off the whole entire time with no idea what I was talking about. So let me just get this out of the way so you can actually see. All right, so this is what I've done. I've created this 16 by 20 background. I've used mostly light papers just to cover up the background. I tore it up and glued it down with literally no regard for where things went so that I could create a background. What's going to happen next? I don't have any idea. But it would be real nice if I could record it. I'm so annoyed with myself. It'd be really nice if I could record it. Okay, before my camera automatically shuts off again due to inactivity like it did the last time, I'm going to, I don't know what's going to happen with this. So rather than explaining to you that I don't know what's going to happen, I'm going to try to make some things happen. I don't know what it's going to be. Do what you were picturing. What I was picturing, and I need dark color. Just do it. All right, this is what I'm picturing. This is what I saw. I'm going to do that and that. I pictured myself cutting out flower petals. The only way to get started is just to do it, right? I'll say these little things because they're cute. Okay, guys, I'm going to sort through papers. You can come with me. Got some neutral stuff. Needs to be kind of dark to show. There's your girl. Oh, good. I have more of this. That's cool. Okay, there's plenty of papers here, and these are just photocopies, guys. I don't even have to get fussy about them. Oh, that's pretty. All right, let's just see. You know the routine watching Collage, right? I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to chop it all up. And the things that I recognize when I get stuck like I am right now is that if I get tangled up about subject matter, and I also get tangled up about color. So if I stick to what I have done for my last few things, which is some sort of a vase with some sort of flowers, then I have gotten rid of subject matter. And if I stick to neutrals, I've gotten rid of color. Remove the barriers for entry, which will make it possible to get something done. Hi everyone. A couple of days ago, I started this canvas on camera and got confused about what was recording and what wasn't, and I recorded absolutely nothing. So what this is a 16 by 20 canvas covered with neutral papers from a bunch of different packs. You might recognize some of them. No consideration at all for composition, for color, for anything. I just wanted to get a background on this. Now, having done that, that doesn't mean I know what I'm going to do here, but what I believe I'm going to play around with is I want to put some backgrounds. I know I want to paint over this once it's laid out, and I want to play around with the concept of vessels, some symbolism around my son, because he's on my mind quite a bit lately, and I actually got a reading from him. I heard from him the other day at church, which was awesome. So I'm going to just work. I put on jewelry so that you can't tell that I'm in my bathrobe, which I am in my bathrobe. It's raining outside. It looks like a freaking hurricane, and I'm going to work. So beside, I have here a pile of scraps from the last several videos and a pile of, this is me, a pile of papers that I have gel printed over. Some of them have been gel printed over. I did that the other day, supposedly on camera. Fake news. That's the plan. Self-conscious. I am literally going to pull a piece of paper out. This is the one that's on the top. And I'm going to... I don't know how to get started. I have to remind myself that this is essentially a sketchbook. I am going to cover this up. It's going to be covered with paint. So I'm literally, all right. Matte gel medium, liquid gel medium. My favorite paintbrush, pair of scissors. I hope the light's okay in here because it's quite dark outside. I can't stress enough that I don't know what I'm going to do, and I am literally cutting this out and gluing it down so that I can just get started. Catalyst wedge, favorite tool. Yeah, I'm going to try very, very hard to be intuitive about this, and I don't even really like that word because I'm not sure what it means to anybody, but what it means to me is I'm not going to think. I'm going to try very, very hard to not think. All tangled up, guys. If you were trying to learn something from me, I cannot promise what I am teaching. I am just literally winging it. I'm not even measuring these. I am just chopping them. Again, I'm going to remind myself that all of this stuff is going to be covered with paint. Okay. Maybe instead of getting all tangled up with that friggin' cutter, I'll use scissors. I have pictures in my mind, which is absolutely no guarantee that this is going to turn into anything that looks like those pictures. These are too skinny. It's not going to give me anything to paint over. I'm talking with a paintbrush in my mouth. I just want you to know. No idea what I was just going to say. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I am going to have to go through this pretty quickly because this does not look like it's going to, this looks like it's going to take me a long time. So there's going to be some real time with me talking and being normal, and then there's going to be some really not real time with me not talking and being normal. I'm deliberately not being careful about this. No reason, no known reason why. Just because. Just because. As you can see, I'm not trying very hard to make any, I don't know where I'm going with this, which is what I recommend, because right now I'm enjoying myself, where the past couple of days where I've come in here and tried to do something with what I'm working on, I wasn't having that much fun. I cut these out the other day. I don't know if it's gonna even if it made it into the video or not, but I am going to randomly place these petals here. I don't know if I have told. I'll talk for a couple minutes because I feel like it. I don't know if I have told you guys. So those of you who know me know that I serve as the president of my co-op and have been for almost 2 years. And I don't enjoy it. I find the membership that I was so excited to serve, I find them a little entitled and a little unappreciative. So my attitude, which was very supportive and loving of my community, has kind of changed. I'm not as in love with everybody as I was. I have received some very stark criticism. This is a house. Stark criticism from the people that I was so supportive of. This is a house. I don't know why it's going. It's going like here. And this is, yeah, so I have found my membership to be quite a disappointment. People sitting on their couches. Yep, I'm just going to glue it down. I'll worry about what I'm going to do with it later. People sitting on their couches with a remote in one hand and a phone calling me as if this is an assisted living co-op, which it's not, to complain about every manner of things. And you know what? I'm not very tough-skinned. I act like a tough girl. I've been accused of being a tough girl all my life. I don't know why I'm gluing these down, but I'm going to just glue them down here. I've been accused of being kind of a tough girl all my life, because if you get beat up enough by life, sometimes the only thing to do is get a thick skin, which I have gotten. Yeah, I can't explain why this is going here like this, but it is. So I've developed a rather protected thick skin. In general, but not when it comes to being criticized for the volunteer work that I do so earnestly. I always worry that somebody's going to see these videos and hear me complaining about them, but to be honest, they complain about me to each other, so this is what it feels like, guys. Does not feel awesome. These are so pretty. These are getting glued down. I think I'm just going to take these little sliver things, since I know I'm going to cover them with paint and they'll be more interesting showing through, because I really like using my favorite color paint to use is white when I cover things up. All right, that doesn't look like anything right now, but maybe later it will. Let's see what happens when this reminds me of my Rex-Ray days, which I had an awesome amount of fun. Here, let's Rex-Ray this with some cutouts. Rex-Ray and Mark Hurled. That was, gotta watch my head. I'll try that. Right on the edge. I used to do this all the time when I was collaging these cutouts. They're so much fun. Just put it over the house. The house can be moved. So I know a lot of the people, well, I don't know anything. I imagine, based on comments, that a lot of the people that watch my channel are creatives, and they're watching because they enjoy watching other creatives create. So there's that. But there's a lot of people that I believe come here because they are trying to figure out, that is fun, they are trying to figure out how to make stuff. And you can see that this is a little bit of chaos right now. I don't know what it's going to turn out like, but if you can just give yourself permission to play, especially if you're using, I know if you're using some of your original art papers, sometimes it's a little bit challenging to use them because they're so pretty that you don't want to wreck them. Make a photocopy of them. Do what I did. I made photocopies of all of my stuff, and now I'm not afraid to use it. So don't be afraid. It really is just paper. And that's pretty funny because I'm afraid all the time. I'm afraid all the time because I'm on camera and it's kind of performative. You know, I'm performing for you guys, which is not the same as making art in your bathrobe without witnesses. I have witnesses. I have witnesses. Look at these little funny shapes that are coming out here. Look at how cute they are. So this is just the cutout from the little thing I cut out. But look at what it does. Look at how much fun those are. I'm doing more. I'm doing more, and I'm going to do it out of... So just take a strip of paper, fold it in half, and in half again. Cut some little scoops. Save the scoops. I also should just jump in while I'm gluing to say that if you're new here, you will find that I start stories, I start talking about something, and 100% leave you hanging because I never finish the story. And I can guarantee, 100% guarantee that's going to happen today. It's probably already happening right now, which is why I brought it up. Cool thing about working with collage is that if you don't like something, you just cover it up with more paper. Cherie. You have to remind me, oh, I love what's happening there. I have no idea where it's going, but it's fun. All right, let's do the same thing over here. So I probably have brought this artist up a couple of times in this video because she's on my mind often. I can relate to her in all kinds of ways. Denise Serro, C-E, I believe R-R-O. She collages. I've got a paintbrush in my mouth. She collages. She paints. Her work is covered with many, many layers. And she'll show the evolution of a painting. And it's unrecognizable. A lot like what happens inside of my sketchbooks. You know, where I start out and it looks like I actually know what I'm doing, which is garbage. I don't know what I'm doing. When I say that, because people get kind of they defend me against myself. I don't know where it's going. Maybe that is very fun. Maybe that's a better way of phrasing it. I really love that. I'm doing more. I'm doing some down here. Let's do. Don't get precious about it. Let's do this. Sure. Let's do this along the bottom. This is making me laugh because, you know, I start out and I've got a picture in my mind. Yeah. Rarely, the picture in my mind rarely materializes. Maybe the beginning of the picture in my mind does, but it rarely materializes. But I'm always surprised and sometimes a little delighted over what does materialize. So Denise starts out, I don't even know how she starts. Maybe she starts by, you know, a lot of artists will start by scribbling all over the background. I'm one of those artists. Let's put that here. I'm one of those artists where I'll start, you know, just to get started. I've had a couple people ask, why do you cover everything up? Why bother doing it at all? And I remember thinking that when I used to watch artists like, I can't remember her name, her last name is Franks. She would scribble and put all this energy into a background and 100% cover it up. And I never quite understood why bother? Why put all that energy into something only to cover it up? Cover everything up, and I'd be like, all that work? It's work if you're trying to, I don't know, like, I suppose it's work if you're trying to, if you're not enjoying it, it's 100% work. We all know about that because we pretty much all had jobs, and having a job that you don't like is definitely work. But when you're doing something like this, it really can just be fun. And if it's fun, then whatever work you put into it is just fun. Okay, I have completely gone amok over what I thought I was going to do, but whatever. Oh, I've just gotten an idea. See this? See this zigzag thing? I have always called that jags. When I've been trying to name my art and stuff like that, I call it jags. And jags are something that I do digitally with this cutout thing that they have on Your Style. And one day I'll show you how to do that if you guys are ever curious of how to do it. But I'm going to make some jags, but I think it's easier to do digitally than it is to do the way I'm doing it now. Here, let's try that. Okay. Just put it right here. I'll cover up my little flower that I just made with a little middle in it. Am I going to cover up Neil? Nope. Can I use these jags? Sure. Just keep going. I got all these little cutouts. I'll just put them here. Is that all I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's more. There's more, but there's so much chaos on my table. I can't find them. All right, well, that'll do. Okay. So, oh, here they are. See, you can't see them because it's so much chaos. Hold on. What I'm going to do after I glue these down is I'm going to let these dry. And I can't put them out in the sun because there is a serious lack of sun out there today. We are having windy rain, sideways rain, trees bumping up against, not trees, but you know, baby trees bumping against the side of my house. Oh, I can't wait to see what happens to this because this is a lot of information. All right, let's turn it around again as if this has an up or a down. Okay, so you can see I've created a lot of chaos and I don't know what's going to happen to the said chaos. I have dried this. I've cleaned up my table. I've removed this from my gel plate, which was a challenge. Look what happens. The back of it gets this big oil stain on it, but you know what? It's not going to anybody. It's probably just going to live in my shed once I'm finished with it. So I've got, it's still a little bit cold, which means that it's still wet, but it's going to do the job. And I don't know if I'm going to need this platform or not. We'll see. So the plan is to use this, which is, this is Bare Ultra White Pure. I found out from Anna Carl that several house paint companies make acrylic paint. Bare being one of them, Ben Moore being another one, the expensive Ben Moore, and maybe another brand, I don't really remember. But anyways, they make this, they make ultra pure white paint. So for a whole entire quart, it's $8, not, I don't even know how much a quart of paint would cost. And I've actually had reasonable, okay luck with it. Maybe not as easy to use on the gel plate as acrylic, but it's very liquid. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to pull out a bunch of favorite little paintbrushes right here. I'm a little nervous about this part because I don't know where I'm going to take this. And I'm not afraid of wrecking this, so that's not the motivation because this is already wrecked. This is there's nothing that I am afraid to cover on this. Okay. Let's start down here because it's the least intimidating. I'm going to paint around these pots. I don't know if they'll keep the same shape, but we'll see. Let's see what happens here. And if this gets tedious, I will fast forward through it. In the meantime, let's see what happens. I'd like to give this pot a little pedestal. Sure, this one too. You can see this is a fairly opaque paint. And I love it that it's liquid. Maybe what I'll do is just paint out a few distractions so that I give my eye a little bit of quiet. Okay. This is a very skinny little pedestal on that. Not sure if it's going to stay. Need to get around these leaves. What is this little brush? This is a useful little brush. It's got an angled tip on it. I don't know what that's called. Yeah, you know what I'm going to do, guys? And I say this all the time, but I really do have to go quiet because there's a certain amount of real time that you can tolerate and that I can tolerate in terms of editing. But if I talk, I can't edit through it. I think I'm going to paint around. I like those jags for some reason. I'm going to leave them there. Little zebra shaped stuff. Oh, paint, not, this is paint, sure E, not glue. This is paint, you can't do that. You need a little bit of glue, honey. That little house may end up with a hand-drawn ladder leading up to that little angel, which is my boy. My sweet, sweet boy. Crashed his motorcycle almost 14 years ago. And though he hasn't been seen, he's definitely been heard from. All right, let's get this little house, which is going to symbolize home and life and those kinds of things for me and possibly for you. Here's my roof line. I think I painted out my chimney, but that's okay. I'm going to use this misting bottle to just loosen this paint up. Oh, that's nice. That really thins it. Oh, that thins it so it colors it, but it's not completely opaque. There. Okay, there's a little house. There's my angel. Oh, look at the hearts are right underneath it, which was not planned at all. Let's come over here and see what we can do to, let's whisper up this. For some reason, I'd like to hold on to this, at least for now, but I'd like to paint around it to get rid of those sharp lines of the cut. I'm just going to leave that there for a while. I can always cover it up. It's busy, but I like it. All right, maybe a little bit more over this. So what I'm seeing happening next while I'm painting out this last corner, I'm seeing myself taking my hairdryer to this so I can keep going, and maybe putting something that's represents a horizontal surface, a table. It's going to be literal. I'm going to put a table down. That's probably going to have to go, but it's cute for now. Yeah, so I'm going to do that. Okay, I'm going to do something on the side here. I just want to play around with those leaf shapes. Got some white paint on this, a little bit of black. Just try to get maybe some of this leaf overlap. Get the leaves growing out of the side of the stem instead of overlapping. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Oh, up here a little bit. Okay, I found this, which could be my table. So I'm going to, I've got this. So now I just want to figure out how to cut it around. I'm getting all exacting, which is not necessary, but I want to cut it there and there. I'm going to piece it in because I know I'm going to paint over this. So I need glue. I need a brush that's not covered with paint, Cherie. Use this. And let's do this. Let's put these how they kind of go, so I don't get lost when I'm on camera. There's a disadvantage to putting white paint in the same bottle as your medium. Fortunately, I didn't glue it down. Okay, now this goes here. Hang off the edge a little bit. This paper was drawn, these bitty little tiny lines, dotted lines were drawn one at a time in Procreate. I don't know if you guys know about Procreate, but if you're looking to step up your art game, it's an awesome product. But it's only for Apple, so if you're a Droid user, you really can't use it so much. But it's just an online art program. I mean, it's just an art program. And you can draw and paint and use all kinds of different brushes, and can really make some very fun art. I've made quite a bit of art inside of Procreate, which is this really interesting combination of hand drawing, come here you, hand drawing and digital. I'm just pushing out the bubbles. Sometimes I can push them out. Sometimes a little bit of water will loosen up the paper enough to lay it down. Okay, so this is my tablecloth, which will give this something to sit on. Got the idea that I want to paint out some of these shapes. I know those are going away, but I don't I don't want them to because they're cute. So for now they make me happy. I'm going to leave them alone. Okay, so I think I'm probably going to maybe paint some circles around this tablecloth. I hope this is paint. Is this paint? Looks like paint. Half circles for the top. Okay. Okay, a little polka dotted tablecloth. Well, I don't know if it's going to read. So while I'm painting circles, I'll tell you that I was a gardening extraordinaire yesterday. I put out 16 bags of mulch in my little yard. I have a tiny little yard. I live in a mobile home park community. I have a tiny little yard. I don't know how wide it is, 20 feet, maybe 20 feet. Not big enough to have a fire pit, so maybe it's not 20 feet. And the grass grows pretty healthy. And I've planted hydrangeas. And I just put some lavender in the front yard. And I've got a lilac tree that came with the place that this year bloomed like crazy. Hundreds and hundreds of blooms. So I ordered mulch, which every day for 5 days, Lowe's said they were going to deliver and did not. I came home yesterday after meeting my friends for breakfast, and there it was, neatly piled up in my driveway. So I went out at 6:30 in the morning. The part of the yard that I wanted the mulch to go in is in full sun. And I did not want to be in it all day long with my shiny white freckled skin. It took me till 10:30. I was eaten alive by mosquitoes. So I put it all around the lilacs. I've got a couple of baby maples out there that, fortunately, the houses where I live are lined up like tractor trailers. So we don't really have privacy. But the lilac disguises my front yard from my neighbor. I got this all in, and it looks, I buy the dark black, came out pretty. I don't look like I joke around about living in a trailer park and people think I'm judging. I am. I did not expect that at my age, having worked as hard as I worked and had given up the things I gave up, that I'd be living in an old people's trailer park. And it's not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just that I worked very hard to have a home that had the details and the interior. I'm an interior designer, that I wanted. And that was by plan taken away from me, but not just me. Me and a whole bunch of other people. The controlled demolition of small business, the destruction of the housing market, the absolute imprisonment of our population. Oh, I can't even believe I'm gone here again, because every time I talk about, there's no way for me to talk about where I live without becoming aware of how I ended up here. And not just me. Many people lost their homes, their businesses, their children to suicide, their loved ones to an untimely death that could have absolutely been avoided. I am so sorry, guys. I love my house. I love my little yard. And now I've got black mulch all around my plants, which makes me very happy. All right, so this is going to need, I thought I would have more bigger spots, but and you let the brush decide how I was going to do things, which is fine, because I feel like I'm going to paint around this with a different color as well. Okay, I've been avoiding doing this, but I'm going to do it now. Get rid of this. Not get rid of it, but tone it down. And I don't even know if these jags are going to stay here. But I needed to paint that out so that I could focus, let it dry, and focus on my tablecloth. I'm now picturing it being dark. Now I've got so much black in it, it feels like the dark needs to be black versus Payne's Gray or something like that. I'll speed through most of this because it's going to be tedious. One of the things that Denise does is she keeps layering. Denise Serro, one of the things that she appears to do is that she keeps layering colors so that when you paint over it again, a little bit of that shines through. And I have accomplished that. I did a video on my sketchbook, and I painted the same teapot over and over with different layers, and I loved what was shining through. I'm getting paint on my favorite bathrobe, guys. For that matter, I have paint on pretty much everything. I've had people make these comments about, I can't believe that you're painting in that pretty sweater. I have painted in almost everything I own, ruined almost everything. So I don't really have paint clothes anymore. I just have clothes. I started watching really early on before YouTube, when I still owned my home, so years ago. Suzanne Allard. I remember taking a class on Skillshare from Suzanne, and I could not make myself do the assignment. We were supposed to paint this, follow this, these prompts and paint this bouquet of flowers, and I couldn't do it. So I ended up flattening out a container, a little tiny shipping box that one of our pottery stuff came in, and I painted a design on that. That was the most serious I could get, was to paint a design on the shipping box. And I posted it on Skillshare. And she was excited about it because I had at least done something versus not doing anything at all. And so she contacted me and asked me if she could use my shipping box in an email to her students. I was wicked flattered. Of course she can. And she was basically saying, if you can't paint on a canvas because you're just too afraid, look what this girl did. I want to tell you a story. about my son. He's been gone almost 14 years. It'll be 14 years in August. And when he first left, I heard from him all the time, and I mean all the time. Every time I started to go to a spiritualist church, which is where we practice mediumship, because I was desperate to know that my child was okay. So I went to the spiritualist church the other day for the first time in quite a while. And while I was driving there, I was thinking that I hadn't heard from him in a while. And I said, Neil, I'm on my way to church. If you'd like to check in, I would be happy to hear from you. So this was not a regular church service. What this was called Circle. And what we do in Circle is we close our eyes and we meditate and we see what thoughts, what pictures, what messages show up in that space inside your mind. But while I was in that state, I could hear my heart beating. And I remember thinking, I carried that child inside of my body from his conception to his birth. And the whole entire time, he could hear my heartbeat. That was just a thought. That was just thoughts that I was having. Well, there was a man who stopped coming for a very long time because he became ill. And I hadn't seen him in probably, I'm going to guess, 3 or 4 years. And this man, pretty much every time I came, had a message for me. And some of them were quite remarkable. So he was sitting across from me, and he was looking at me like he had a message for me. And he said, I don't know your name. I don't think we've ever met. And I said, oh, we've met many times. You've given me many, many messages. So he grabbed his cane and shuffled his way over to me across from the circle of chairs. And I got up to meet him. And he got real close to me to see who I was. And he was like, I remember you. Oh, I love you. I haven't seen you in such a long time. He was so excited to see me. It was awesome. So the message that he gave me. So he went back and sat down and he said, is it your son? And I said, most likely. He said, he is sitting at a piano, but I don't think he plays piano. I think he's using the piano to indicate music. And then he sat there and thought for a couple of minutes. And then he said, do you sing? And I said, yeah, I do. He remembers you singing to him. And while he said, the picture that I'm seeing in my mind is of a very young boy sitting in your lap, and you are singing to him. And he has his head on your chest, and he can hear your heartbeat. And that was the most incredible message to get, because one day in particular, he was probably maybe 2 or 3, and he was sitting in my lap, straddled, facing me with his head on my chest. And he was just about asleep, and I was singing, pretty blue eyes, please come out to play so I can tell you what I have to say. And he woke up just long enough to say, Mommy, you sing like an angel. And then he put his head back down on my chest and fell asleep. And then I got a reading from another woman, and she said, your son wants to thank you for using his picture in your art. Right there, I put him, he was in all of my older art because I was doing art therapy to survive his passing. And now I do it, I don't know, because I find it comforting. I include him in my art. And I had mentioned this in an earlier video that when you're looking at some of the papers that I'm offering for sale, you will find his picture. I have two angels that I use all the time. This golden one with the little yellow face and another one with a blue face. And it's almost always in my recent art. And she said, he is so honored that you do that. So that was a very meaningful message. Losing him changed my life. I see everything as a miracle now. The fact that I had him at all, to have him taken away from me. And did he get taken away? Was that a taking or a waking? I was 38 years old when he was born. He came home from school one time when he was probably, I don't know, 4 or 5. And he said, why are you so old? I said, what do you mean? He said, all the other kids have young moms and you're old. Why are you so old? And I don't remember exactly what I said, but it was whatever it was. He bought it. And I think it was something like, I was waiting for you or waiting for the right kid to show up. Whatever it was, it settled his concerns about having the oldest mom in the school. I'm going to glue this down. Not with white paint, though. Sure. These just kind of feel like, I don't know, like little flowers. If you guys want to bail on me, I completely understand, but I'm going to keep the camera rolling until it tells me low power mode again. That's a lot of paint, sure, considering that you're doing tiny little, oh, that's right, I put this here too. Hi everyone, it's a brand new day. So this is what I did last night off camera. I painted out the Jags because I couldn't relate them to anything else, and I ended up covering up the liquid looking thing here because I don't know. I needed, I don't know. I did that. But what I did last night off of camera is I created these little petals. So since I've got this black flower up there, it feels like it needs to have, I don't know, some friends next to it, maybe in a smaller scale. So I've created these little petals. I might make, I don't know if they're going to lay like that, but I've got the idea that I would run some sort of thing across the top. But what I'm thinking about right now, and I don't know if I'm going to do this or not, but I'm thinking about painting out these white and yellow, these red and yellow things, or at least the red things. And now I'm thinking about covering up this black and white with something round, something, I don't love it. I just picked up this and just cut this flower out. And I think that those might be kind of fun and playful. So that's what I'm going to do. Oh, here's my little boy. Here's my boy right here. Get him out of there and find a home for him. Okay, so that's what I'm planning on doing. I'm going to cut out these flowers. Probably what I should do first while I'm cutting out so that things can dry is, oh, those are actually freaking cute. Okay, I need to paint. I'm actually already looking at all the cutouts and all the scraps because I've got all these beautiful, lovely little skinny scraps of these digital papers. And I can't wait to see what I can make with them. Okay, so I've got some extra sheet. This is what I love about these digital papers. I use them up and then I print more. And then I, now I have enough flowers to finish this project. Okay, these are cute. These are vintage. So I don't know if you guys know this, but clipart.com, and it's been probably 10 years since I've used the program, but it was called clipart.com, and it had a subscription for some small amount of money, and you could download as many public domain images as you wanted to for this subscription. And I went on a wholesale downloading binge on these hands. These are, my understanding is that these images are made from woodcuts. Somebody would carve these into wood and then they'd print it. So I have a ton of public domain woodcut images representing all manner of styles. I have a lot of flowers, a lot of seacoast, coral, because a lot of them were made for, you know, like they would be put in science books, not so much art, but science books. You get some really beautiful images. You could incorporate them into your art because they're public domain. So if you're looking to incorporate some of this type of work into your work, which is still art, it's still, even though it may come from someone else, you're the only one that can put it together the way you do, which is why I make my digital art for sale so that you can do that. Let me just see what I got. Which tells me I need one more flower. Let's take this one. So the way I'm working with this collage right now is certainly the way you can use some of these papers to do your own collage. Chop them up, integrate them, put your own spin on them. Cute. Those are freaking adorable. All right. So the idea that I have while I'm gluing, because gluing and talking, the idea that I have for up here is to do pen work. I want to do leaves and maybe little vines that will join things. You know, that feels... Let's take this and twist it like that. They look like they're behind each other. So vines and leaves in black, probably thin. I wanted to use originally Posca, but I don't trust Posca anymore. Posca, here, put this on first. Not everybody has this experience of Posca, but I have the experience of Posca. Smearing and wrecking my final layer. Yeah, that's cute. It's so freaking cute. These are adorable. I do say so myself. Now, I've got a couple of things. I haven't decided. I feel like I want to paint. I feel like I'm going to paint this some more, but I don't know that I'm going to do it for this video because I would like to get it posted, but I feel like this might be happier for me if it's done in black. And then I just have to decide whether or not I'm going to leave these little dark openings, which may not shine up so pretty, but that's the plan. Okay, I am back. And I've got a couple of things. I've got these glued down. I glued my sun here and here. And now I'm going to do some penciling. I mean, some drawing. I have black, gold, white, and silver. Never used the silver, but I am a big fan of the white and the black. I've had a number of people request that I do my pen work in real time, and I don't know that most people have the patience for that, but for those of you who want to see this stuff in real time, all you have to do is hit that little gear button on the right-hand side of the video, and you can slow it down. You can slow it down as slow as you want. It's long work. So watch me if you feel like it. Thanks. Bye. Okay, I have completed this piece. I wish I had gone a little bit stronger on the pen work in terms of a thicker pen, but I can add that later on. I forgot my little ladder up to my sun, but you know what? The sun is shining up to him, and he's at home, and he's in the living things that surround my yard. So here's my cute little piece right here. And I want to thank you for watching. This was fun. It didn't come out the way I expected, and it took several detours, but it's a fun little piece. It's got a sense of humor. It honors my son, and I appreciate your watching. So I rarely ask, but apparently YouTube doesn't like it that I don't post every week. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you for joining me. Goodbye.